I love cats. Besides penguins, they're my favorite little creatures on the planet. Look at my cat, Smeagol. Yes, from Lord of the Rings, though I did not pick it. Yet I can't imagine a better name, since she goes into Gollum mode the second a foot moves under the covers. Don't get me started about the 2.5 hour scream fest in the car when she moved with me. Well, I guess kidnapping her at 12 a.m. during a snowstorm can do that to a girl. Anyhow, I've always enjoyed the presence of cats in video games. From Gato in Devil Summoner to Null and Lunar Silver Star Story. There are plenty of fuzzy cat bodies to go around, with indie developers going nuts on PC and the Switch. From the bad to the possum, let's talk about 5 cat games that get you in the mood to scratch a post. Like a stinky litter box, Little Strays will leave your nose crinkled up. It was released in November of 2024 with what I hope were good intentions, dropping you into a warehouse area as a lone stray cat where you must find food or lost kittens within a short time frame. The issue comes down to the tank controls, limited gameplay variety, and fairly uninspired area design. I'm not even a tank control hater, but as an agile cat, it's an interesting choice. Platforming is supposed to be the name of the game, yet you have very strained jumping, floating through the object when you land. You can meow, which really doesn't do anything except sound silly. I was hoping that the saving grace would be multiplayer, but it's not. Your cat and a black one pop in on a narrow split screen, and you compete to get the most amount of collectibles in the same dull map. It also feels way too easy, given that the time limit is nearly 20 minutes. The only difficult thing about it is, again, the terrible jumping. Given that it's a $4 game with a very small group of people behind it, it is somewhat excusable. Still, this is exactly what it seems like. Shovelware to be passed over. Unless you need every cat game to ever exist, which I know some of you are out there, this is a no-go. Cat Cafe Manager is a charming 2022 game that's a mix between a simulator and a strategy game that flirts with the idea of storytelling and character development. There is a significant amount of things to do, starting off with a little story intro that lets us know with the passing of our grandparent, we get to take over the rights to a cat cafe. We start everything from the ground up, literally building out the floor plan, adopting cats for the shelter, hiring staff, and getting our products prepared and served. Things are actually quite detailed when it comes to getting your place off the ground, like how we have to actually buy advertisements, set out food for strays, as well as buying recipes and ingredients to serve the odd mix of customers. You'll have witches, fishermen, hipsters, and 2 other customer types to get into the flow with and keep them coming back. It can get quite hectic once business picks up, and you'll likely have to keep hiring workers and build out your cafe. It's also a testament of good design when you get a full house and everything still looks clear and understandable. If everything were darkly colored with heavy shadowing, I'm sure I'd be going cross-eyed. It's a slow burn since it really can take you multiple hours to make any progress on your ad campaigns, and the amount of ingredients you can get in one go is pretty small. It's no game for impatient people. Of course, I can't skip over the portraits, given that they look so full of life close up. With great line work and even better color choices, everyone looks very 2020. I'm not sure how else to say it, but the TikTok clothing variety is quite charming for now. In the bigger chunk of the game, you'll get a cuter, simplified look that I like more. Simple, cartoony, and cute, especially those kitties. If all of those previously mentioned responsibilities weren't enough, a mysterious dark cat asks that you restore a couple shrines, which will then get you more inventory space, better customer rates, a higher cat capacity, the works. By the time your cafe is doing very well, your Switch may significantly slow down, something that has still not been patched. Maybe the Switch 2 will run better, since Nintendo says the eShop games will still be a thing, but for now you can pick it up on PC, typically on sale very often. All in all, I think it's serviceable, a spin on 2 Point Hospital, but it's not the kind of game I'll be spending much time with. Inbento is a casual puzzle game from 2019. You can find it on every system but a Sony. With that being said, it's very cheap. $5 on a regular day, $1 on sale. There's not much to be said, but to be shown instead. Gameplay is straightforward with some easy controls to get thrown right into bento box Tetris. The whole concept is that you're making a cute little lunch that will be aesthetically pleasing. matching the ideal picture at the top of the screen. You have to flip, cover, stack, and add until the pieces are just right. The limited options and increasingly complicated pieces get very real by stage 4. There are 14 stages total, with 9 sets inside of them, so depending on how fast that brain is pumping, you'll either be here for an hour or a handful. Much like a personal favorite of mine, Catherine, puzzle games like this have so much replayability, given that you're into that kind of thing. Unlike Catherine's great story and characters, Inbento has hardly anything to its plot. We get a 10-second snap of a mama cat and her kitten, telling a short story between stages about growing up and just how quickly things change. I still wish there was a little bit more going on. What we do have, though, is some great music, although it can get old since it doesn't change much throughout the playtime. Like I said before, not much to say, just to show. Cat Quest from 2017 is the first of 3 thus far. Ever imagine if Dragon Quest's main character was actually a cat? Well, now you've got it. We kick off our adventure with 2 cats in a boat. Sounds like trouble, and it is. Your sister gets catnapped and you barely survive going overboard before a weird blue spirit saves your life. Turns out you've got dragon blood in that little body yaddy, and you'll need to fight porcupines, dragons, and other creatures along your journey to save Miss Girl. Cat Quest is perfect for a first-timer in real-time action combat. It's an open world that lightly guides you through with a paw outstretched, allowing only a main mission or 1 side quest to be picked up at once. This is good for people with a narrow focus, but bad for people who want to do it all right then and there. Most things in the game can be whittled down to fetch quests, so go fight a singular big bad, pick up an object, and deliver it. I'm hoping the future games will have some better variety. As for gameplay, it's very easy, which again is good for beginners or, heck, people with limited time to game. It actually only takes about 6 hours to complete. Anyhow, the attack ranged from melee to magic, and the developers do a nice thing, showing us a red circle that grows larger when an enemy is about to attack, and dwindles when it's a good time to strike them. Dodging will be the key, however, seeing as it's a bit of cat and mouse required to not get killed. It's very charming in its world map and character design, with a nice overhead view that really tickles the nostalgia bone if you've dabbled with early RPGs like NES Zelda. If you're interested in trying it out, it's on every system, with physical used copies going for $30 on Switch and $16 on PS4. Xbox doesn't get physical copies though, which I'm hardly surprised by given how they really only put 25% of the game on a disc at this point. Dark times. Last, and certainly not least, is the most meow-tastic game on the list, and possibly the best cat game that has ever been released. Stray. It took the world by storm in 2022, winning Best Indie Game Award and being streamed so often it felt like everyone knew about it. It took a year to make its way to Xbox and 2 years to get on the Switch. But if you have not played it, it is a must-play for cat lovers, or even just people who enjoy a futuristic dystopian Last of Us narrative adventure game. The story is delivered at just the right pace to not have you beat over the head with needless dialogue, while also allowing you to seek out certain core memories and plot details that are entirely skippable. It's rewarding to find out more about the world and characters, and it even dabbles with some more philosophical aspects seen on a spectacular display in Nier Automata. Questions of what we're here for as both human and AI are constantly lurking over our shoulders. You play as a little orange cat, who very much looks like my Smeagol, might I add. The cat has so much detail in the way they move, falling over when something heavy is on them, they'll hiss in fear when something falls, and they'll playfully flick their paw when tempted by something hanging on a ledge. If the cat were to, say, hurt itself with a heavy fall, they'll limp before licking their wounds and getting right back to it. Without needing a voice, the body language says everything you need to know at all times. But if you are looking for a voice, we get that with B12. A little droid who has lost all memory of who it is and what it's meant to do. It translates the speech of other robots, hacks gates, and offers hints as to what to do next in our cat's journey to find their way back up to the surface, a place few robots seem to have any hope of reaching. We start the game with our pack of cats, but we get separated early on and end up below the surface. Stray has a very Final Fantasy VII Midgar vibe of the pizza sky, where a giant plate is separating tons of robots from the planet, where apparently many people have also lived at one time. As we make our way back to the top, we learn about why there are only robots left and where all the people go. Again, it's a great story, and the dialogue is all fantastic and very believable. As a work of art, Stray comes together in all aspects, with incredible sound effects, fantastic music, great writing, and all the little touches that perfect it. The color choices that make this place pop work wonders, and the textures all look incredible. There are so many small little moments, like taking a nap and just enjoying the music, or scratching a rug and feeling that haptic feedback in the triggers. It adds so much and really gives you an experience. If you're an achievement hunter and you're looking for an easy platinum, and honestly just a fun hunt, the game has achievements that are a pleasure to get. For example, dunking a basketball in a bucket or rubbing the legs of 5 robots, the achievements are there to be fun, not to lose your mind over, which I certainly appreciate. Every port is actually a worthwhile option, with the Switch port being just as good as any other. Its only downside is that the colors do seem to be a bit drained in comparison, but the frame rate and load times, which are hardly in the PS5 version I played, are maybe only a second or two slower. All ports physically run just under $30 except for the Switch drop, landing closer to $40 since it is the newest. So however you can get it, do yourself a favor and go for it. Before we officially end things here, I want to shout out a good friend of the channel and a fiercely beautiful kitty, Sydney Cat. Her channel consists of live streams, shorts, and full videos, where we can watch squirrels, play with toys, and listen to her lively meows and purrs. Her bright green eyes are the key to her soul, and she has many sweet songs sung about her adventures and daydreams. The Sydney channel helped jumpstart Sleepless Sheep, so please send love her way. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.